jibber jab, bamboozle, nuka noozle, bippity bop, she gone. You jibber jab, bamboozle, nuka noozle, bippity bop, she gone. I mean, you keep on talking, but you don't know where to turn it off.
Welcome to the weekend. I'm Jon Caldara, president of the Independence Institute. You're watching Independent Thinking. You might be surprised. Yeah. On talk. You jibber jab, bamboozle, nuka noozle, bippity bop, she gone. You jibber jab, bamboozle, nuka noozle, bippity bop, she gone. I mean, you keep on talking, but you don't know where to turn it off. Welcome to the weekend. I'm Jon Caldara, president of the Independence Institute. You're watching Independent Thinking. It might surprise you, but I actually went to college, and this is what the University of Colorado produces, as well as this on the other side of the spectrum. Jessica Peck-Cory from the Independence Institute, thank you so much, and congratulations on the book deal. I'm excited about this.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
Victim Nation.
That's right.
By Regnery, is that?
It's through the Phillips Foundation, and Regnery's is part of that. Is part of that. So now I have the funding. I just have to write the book.
Oh, and that's all you have to do.
That's all I have to do. And
just the easy part.
2011, it'll be coming out. I promise.
Will you read it to me when you get it?
I will. I'll get it on audio just so you can have it.
That's all I'm looking for.
I don't have to have 8 tracks for your car, though, so we may have to.
I've moved it up to reel to reel. All right. And from the University of Arkansas, and author of this spectacular book, Politically Correct University, Bob Maranto, thank you for joining us.
Thanks. Great being here.
Hey, let's just first plug. This is a book from AEI, which is the American Enterprise Institute. Politically Correct University. What? You get paid by the university. You're not supposed to yap about the university.
I do. Actually, a dear friend of mine said, why are you wasting your time on that stab us in the back book instead of producing killing ever more trees to write hundreds of articles of social science that no one will actually read? And I thought that the genesis for it was mostly in 2 things. One thing was that I was a blue-collar kid who went to college. My parents didn't go to college. And I had these romantic notions that college would be a place where people would discuss great ideas and there would be debates and it would be fun. And when I got to college, I found there was almost none of that. There's a presumed left of center or sometimes far left consensus on most everything. And liberal ideas aren't really challenged very much.
The University of Colorado, I disagree. There is a lot of debate. It's whether you should be a socialist or whether you should be a communist.
So left or far
left. And that argument pervades pretty much every single class at
and actually I'm fond of saying that President Obama would be way too conservative to be in most sociology departments or a lot of poli-sci departments, actually. The other sort of impetus for it was in the 90s, I spent a year at the left of center Brookings Institution and then working for the Clinton administration. And I worked a lot with Clinton political appointees, and I found that the vast majority of the time we agreed on things. You know, they understood that central planning didn't work. You know, communism failed. They understood that welfare reform was needed, that government needed to be reinvented. And what really struck me about that experience was that working with mainstream Democrats in Washington, I was basically a centrist guy. I could get along with them fine. In academia, I'm a crazy right-winger. And I thought, there's a book in that. it's very interesting just how isolated the ivory tower is. And that's unfortunate because unlike some folks, I like universities. I think universities have the potential to be really fun, intellectually vibrant places. So in a lot of ways,
it's a place to pick up girls. Yes, well, I agree with you.
That too, but also ideas. There's more than just drinking beer and
no, there's not more than drinking beer. Now, you and I met when you were at CU, my alma mater, and you were part of the conservative group up there. And this, when I met you years back, I said, this is something special. I need to get her involved in politics in the Independence Institute. And you helped put together the Campus Accountability Project, which was to allow some conservative voices at CU. Give me your brief experience at CU, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty much the same in most government higher ed institutions.
Sure. Well, I came to CU intent on becoming a hardcore radical leftist. And it was through my experience at CU, which I wouldn't define so much in terms of conservative versus liberal, but just in the sense that having so many people on the left, the vast majority of professors and administrators on the campus trying to silence student speech and free expression, that was really problematic to me. And through that experience and my reaction, my visceral reaction to that, I got labeled as a conservative and faced some of these same attacks that he did. But my biggest problem, I guess, with higher education in terms of the dialogue that we no longer allow is that it's gotten so extreme that when we combat these efforts at censorship, whether it's shutting down student protests or silencing Christians or conservatives in any way, we have the support of leftist organizations. We have the ACLU, we have major media outlets, we have all sorts of liberal groups, and they all are saying the education institution that we have today on our campuses is far too liberal.
Let's see if we can get a snapshot. In your book, Politically Correct University, you've got a chapter there on the demographics. All right, so tell me, who's working in government universities? Give me the spectrum, and how do you decide?
Ideologically, it varies a lot, major by major, but basically some majors like sociology, anthropology, we're talking professors 20 to 60 to 1, Democrat to Republican. Philosophy, history, more like 15, 20 to 1, depending on which survey, some as low as 10. My area, political science, fairly moderate, more like 6 to 1 maybe.
6 to 1.
Yeah, about 6 to 1. Political science is pretty moderate, actually, and you know, we're a lot less, we don't purge right-wingers to the degree that some others
may. How can you say you don't purge right-wingers if it's 6 to 1? I look at the University of Colorado, and I survived the University of Colorado. 8 of my best years in undergraduate school was in CU. But the overwhelming part of this is that everywhere you go, through every fiber of the university, is a very liberal, command and control, central planned theme. And it goes in every class.
Not economics. And economists,
I would disagree with you
economists have penetrated some of my field, which I think has been good.
My degree was in economics, and I didn't find too many free market economists at CU.
CU is unusual then. We have pretty good data on that. Economists, they're liberal on social issues, libertarian if you will on social issues. On economic issues, they do tend to be free marketers. But economics is really the great outlier, at least within the social sciences and humanities. There are some conservatives on campus. They're more often, though, in areas where ideology really doesn't matter. I mean, honestly, who cares if the physical education professor is a Republican? It doesn't matter. In the areas where it matters...
Let me disagree with that, and let me use what the left always says. It doesn't matter, except you're trying to put together this university, this little community where we're supposed to have different thoughts and backgrounds, and even if you don't teach politics in your algebra class or your engineering class, the conversation's on the side. If you want to butter up your professor because you want to get a good grade in algebra or electrical engineering, you're not going to say, yeah, you know what, I'm a big Ronald Reagan fan, because that's not going to help you. And so in every part of this, I find if we're going to do what the left does, saying, well, we want a community that represents the real world, well, then you can't have 20 to 1 professors that are right or left wingers compared to left wingers.
Well, I agree. I think we're in agreement. I think what I'm saying is that in the areas where ideology matters most, like the social sciences and humanities, the imbalance is greatest.